Okay, it's not a super mess, man. Plus I'm still in between things. Okay, the camera keeps freezing, but I am studying the relationship between technology and consciousness. Because I have already experienced it many times, that once I practice focus, that the camera keeps recording. It's almost like you have to be in a certain state of mind, right? To not lose faith. Okay. Let's just see that this keeps... Yeah. That's just the phase I'm in at the moment. Can't help it. I cannot just replace stuff. So you also cannot replace people. I have cooked potatoes. And now I'm going to throw out the hot water. Now we have to peel them while they're still hot, because we're making a somewhat traditional German dish. It took me now a couple of days to get the timing right, or to find the motivation, or to work off enough of this other stuff that I'm doing. And now I'm in this position where I said I'd do it, and now I have to do it. Okay, this seems to be working. No, it's really, when you're relying on electronic devices, I don't know, maybe it's just something about having a stable connection also to spirit. I've been going through some spasms of anger. Now there's one tool we may need. It's a probably traditional German thing. You put potatoes in here and then you press them through it, and then with that you make a kind of a dough. It's a bit like gnocchi. And then the gnocchi you cook into, you make a dough and then you bring hot water to a simmer. And to this meal, which is in that sense traditional, but we're going to make a variation of it. And this variation is a bit maybe not Asian. I think we're gonna make it a bit different. Okay, I'm gonna use... Now it's important to peel. Wow, this is hot, of course. Question. You could take a fork. So you boil them in salt water. You boil them in salt water. I'm not sure. It's easier to do this while they're still hot. Now I'm missing containers. I'll just use this pot. Put them in here. Check if it's still recording. Okay. I have had it many times that I realized during processes on my computer that they worked when I was holding the focus and did not work when I was just in this cheerful mode. So at some point you may realize that certain things only work in your life when you have the right kind of a mindset. Which is why yoga is an inner battle, which is why things like this, peeling potatoes, and then staying calm is an art, an ancient form of meditation. But if you don't have this, you can just mash it. I'm just saying, I don't know why this thing... I'd say you can just mash it if you don't have this. It's just that I have it. Yeah. At some point you get used to these things. Because I don't have a really super stable connection. Because this is not nature. This is city. And in cities your connection is constantly being intercepted by all kinds of disturbing frequencies that may or may not be disturbing you on purpose. You know, that's hard to figure out. How much is just coincidence and how much is literally ill will? I don't know. A bit suspicion never hurt anyone. Yeah, I'll just keep checking. Sometimes it works and then it doesn't. It's just weird. Wow, this is hot. Actually, you just want to make this food. Don't really want to talk. So you peel potatoes when you cook them, you wanna know if they're good, you go in with the knife like this, and when you can pull it out without the potato sticking, then they're usually done. But yeah, I mean 20 minutes, maximum 30. I'm not in the best mood. I mean, it's just a warrior's mood, right? Kind of like on edge all the time. I'm looking for retribution, because I've been mistreated all my life. And now I want my life to change, right? So I have to put in the work, otherwise nothing will change. Because the reason I've been pushed around was simply because I was lazy and weak. You know? So I let my life also push me around. And now I have to possibly also make amends, because I probably also pushed around. So now I'm setting boundaries. I learned to say no without just becoming a naysayer. And I figure out what helps me to grow. So if you want silence, then you turn this off and you do it by yourself. If you think you can learn from me, then you keep it on and listen. Because if you'd be as smart as you think you are, then you wouldn't have to watch this, then you would just be living it. So I'd say turn it off and see for yourself. But I can say that as long as you're clinging, there's probably something to learn. And since I keep on growing, right, I probably give you no chance to slack, because you know I kept working. Which is why 2026 is completely different than 2025. And that is completely different than 2024. And depending on how long I will continue, it will continue to be different, because life also keeps changing. It poses me with different ejaculations. You know, it just poses different boulders in my way, and then I have to figure out, well, can I just keep growing and just step over it? Do I have to be cautious of the boulder because it got teeth? Or is it just an obstacle that I can also, you know, like the obstacle of time thieves in cities can be overcome by avoiding cities altogether, right? You just focus a lot on your own development, and you try to, you know, simply avoid city centers especially, and then just take detours through nature. And at some point, nature is no longer the detour. It's where you know, then the city is the detour. That's just how I started seeing it. I just want nature to take more and more space in my life, so I can let all of this nonsense go. Because it's the worst. It's the worst. Like, it used to be proper dreaming what we did here, you know? We really knew how to create super marvelous illusions, and now it's just dirty and disgusting. Because everything's magic. So sure, you may say everything's an illusion, but I don't think it is. I think the illusion is highlighting only certain points. You can say it's only nice, you can say it's only bad. Well, it gives you time to really look at how much toxicity we can create for ourselves just by choosing ignorance. Which is why the only solution for you is then a conscious life. So you can certainly get rid of the factors that create your misery. So yeah, my perspective is stop drinking coffee. Probably reduce all processed sugars to 0. No, that's already homework that may take you years depending on you, right? Some people get it. Some people never, ate sugar. Some people tried it and said, nah. And some people really got into it, were almost killed by it. Because it's heroin, my friend. They just don't tell you. It's just marketing. So get back to mostly ketogenic and see how your life becomes more prosperous. Right? Okay, I will wash my hands. Which is sometimes really weird. Okay, and then I will put this here. Yeah, now I will take it with a fork because otherwise... So when they're hot and you have something like this, then it's easier to push them through. Probably because the starch did not harden yet. You see, it kind of turns it into this. Maybe it loosens it up. But in essence, I don't see the difference. There may be a difference. So yeah, cooking takes strength, right? And after this it has to cool out. And then we make a dough with it. And then the dough will have to sit for some time. But yeah, now we're in winter. It just started snowing. Not stable, but there is a thin layer of snow. Und up. Gee, some women are really reluctant to let go. Right? Even when you're married, they really don't want to let you go, right? Then you say, well, you can keep on clinging, but I won't get squishy with you again. Because that was enough. So you have to know your own worth. And once you know it, you also know, what kind of a woman you'd like to have in your life. I'm just saying. She'll turn your head around. The other one will just screw it off. But a woman that gets you to turn around and never look at anyone else. Even look at, you're even looking for her in other women. That's the one. Because that's what she's flashing you. At least I hope so. I may just be delusional. And everything I figured out still just a mystery, right? a woman is supposed to be a mystery. Which is why, you know, the way of science is just really boring and they never get anything. Because they try to eradicate the mystery. They try to act like they know it now. And every 10 years they realize that they knew nothing. But they only say that when they knew something else, right? Oh no, it wasn't like this after all. It was like this, you know, we got it all wrong, but now we know. It's like, yeah, just let go of the knowing already. No. I thought I would make this meal yesterday. You know, I thought I knew, and then I didn't. Now I'm making it. I didn't know that the camera would, you know, start lagging. But somehow, there's always a way. Sometimes something is blocking, and then you first have to write a message. Okay. Clearly needs salt. I'm just gonna do this DIY as usual. I have experience, I already have cooked this after a recipe, but I can also look at a recipe. It's just, this is great with sauce, you know? Gravy type sauce or any other kind of sauce. Plus this is a reminder of, you know, a life I used to have. Because this is from the Bavarian forest. When I studied there. Which is why I also like using, you know, I have this deep appreciation for my past. Because it helped me to figure out what I need in the future. So I knew what woman I'd need. After I had already made my experiences, I realized, oh wow, you know, I'm strong in terms of a lot of things, but I need a specific kind of a woman. A Kshatriya warrior type woman. But also a woman that, you know, I'd love no matter what. You know, just like this, unconditionally. But also not really. Anyway, this is too confusing. I'm just gonna let this stand here so it can cool out. Or I'm gonna check the recipe and just prepare the dough already. Let's just check. It's not a real... I don't know if the recipe is in here. Wow. I have to clean the kitchen. It's not bad. It's alright. I'm just making conversation to keep you happy. I hope you get that. Because if I stop talking, you get anxious. But you're trying to figure out your life, right? So I talk to distract you from what you think is your depression. Which is what I'd say just some kind of darkness inside of you. So here, have some light. And learn to focus. Right? So something is eating you up. So learn to channel it into something else. You know, you don't have to start running around hugging people and loving people. I'd say you should stop hugging people. And you have to practice self-love because you're the one that's struggling. That's why you're here. That's why you looked for something that could help you. And now you're here. And I'm telling you, focus on yourself, your own development. Work on your skills, hone your skills. Cooking is a great skill, one of the best. Okay, now I have to look for... It may not even be here. Doesn't seem to be in here, to be honest. But this is a really stupid book, because I cannot look for the specific ingredient. So now I have to look through everything, which is what you have to do in the beginning, right? If I know the book, I could tell you if this is in here or not. Okay, let's just check from the beginning. You can just scan the page. And sometimes you don't have to look that far. And sometimes you have to look really far. Spätzle. It's a German book. Now I'm looking for something with Klößen. I know it's somewhere in here. But this is the basis for gnocchi as well, I'm just saying. Ah, maybe it's unter Kartoffelklöße. Nope, it is not. So keep looking. Otherwise, I'll just do it via feeling. Yeah, why am I talking so loud? Good question. Because I want to make myself heard. I once looked at my sister-in-law and she said I was looking angry. I said that's how true humans look like. Because they, they opened their channels, which means their inner fire, their tumul, that's purgatory. You start with breath work, you get to look at your demons leaving you. Because you turn up the heat, you bring back life into your temple. You're in for one hell of a ride, I'm just telling you. You get to face all your demons. I mean, that's what warriors are here for. So I'm teaching a lot with my voice because I've been taught by voices. And some voices just want to screw around with me and steal my time, while other voices were actually helping me. But the instructions I received from the good voices were usually super short. They were usually on point. Okay, that could be something. I'm first gonna keep on checking. They were usually also very uncomfortable, like, go swimming in ice water or something. Or, fast for 7 days. I managed 6. That kind of stuff. Usually, the stuff that really helps you is not the nice stuff. It's the stuff that is the most challenging. Which is why loving a woman, I have 2, but they're both not really 178, 312. It's just both with something like Klößchen. But it doesn't seem to be what I'm looking for. So I'll probably just have to go with feeling because I have done this already. So yeah, maybe sometimes you just have to wait for the woman you love to have a nervous breakdown and run back into your arms. I'm just saying. So the woman that makes you smile. And then if the woman makes you smile, then maybe that makes other people smile. And then we can all start loving life again, just by seeing one couple that hold firm to each other. Yeah, okay, it's interesting that they didn't put this in here. It should be. But it isn't. Too bad, right? That's what you say then, too bad. But this is already, it's very cold, so it's cooling down fast. I'm just gonna check 178. 178, my friend. It's a 178. But first it's 316 or so. 316 good reasons to breathe and live another day. Another day. Another day. Another day. Another day. Yeah, you can be stupid. But just realize that stupidity comes at the cost of doing other things. I don't have to sing the way you think I should. I'm not your Justin Bieber. And nor am I in a really good mood. I'm more like the devil you were running away from. Okay, Fischklößchen. Yeah, you could add lots of stuff to this. Take me to the desert and then show me what I want. Kind of lost my track here, but that is the... You have to know the one you want. And then you got to remember. 'Cause otherwise others will come and steal her place.
Oh, das ist ein Steinpilzklößchen. Da schauen wir doch mal, wie man das machen tut, gell? Das ist... Nee, das ist es nicht. Da müssen wir noch mal ein bisschen...
Yeah, so... Tschüssi. Okay, just give me a second. Yeah, still recording. Hey, proper. Let's do this proper. Let's do it right. Let's choose a woman. Make her your wife. Then keep on growing. Keep on glowing. See what happens at the end of the night. The fight is on, it's never over. For that is part of life. If there would be no fight, then you would never look for the way. Okay, let me quickly check out the mystery. My condolences. There's no time to be selfish, there's no time for your greed. You gotta keep on giving, for this is what we need. We gotta find a solution. Because we're in an all-time low. Wow! I was waiting for that. Sometimes it's gotta break. Sometimes it needs to be breaking. Yeah. Oh wow, it just kicked out. Okay, I have to fix this. It's not a big deal. There is no time to be selfish. Okay, let's see if it's really broken. I think I should fix this. Yeah, it's broken. Yeah. You can see if it starts blackening, but I'll find a solution to this. Because I like the light there. It's just a shame if material breaks. I had a feeling it may happen. Because sometimes, you know, something's gotta lose contact. But if your entire life is a bit like this, you know how to do things DIY. But yeah, you cannot ignore things forever. I don't know. Okay, pepper. Let's just do it. You know, this is good workout. Training to keep grinding. I cannot let go of this one woman that I chose. I know there are other women here which would like my stability. I give them stability by trying to keep a constant flow of meditation, and that is, you know, what gurus have always done. But gurus cannot be asked to just sleep around with every woman. You know, that's just my message. Guruhood, I don't know, man. It's simply taking responsibility and channeling energy. That's what a guru does. He's connected to some kind of higher self-awareness. And from this state of self-awareness, he brings insights. He goes into the observer. He tells you what you can do to alleviate your suffering. But ultimately, it's up to you. Okay, we're gonna make this DIY. We could use chickpea flour, but I have never done that, so it's gonna be experimental. Okay, so I'm just gonna cook this entire meal now, because now the camera is working, right? And before it didn't work at all. So I was fiddling around a bit. You know, other people would just return it. This is spelt full corn flour. So I said to you, we're gonna make a dough, right? We could even, now it's gonna get interesting, turn them into curry. Okay, we're gonna do that. What spices? Coriander, possible. Just curry powder in general. Nutmeg, certainly, most certainly. Right, this is a great food. Why? Because you do this today, and tomorrow you can fry them. Which, I like food that you can use in all kinds of ways. I don't know, I like to teach Zen, right? Zen is about spontaneity, it's about letting go, being in the moment. Cooking, if you want to be stable at cooking, do your planks, hold your planks. Also do your breath work. When cooking gets heavy, you know, you simply know how to let go. So you stay in the moment to not be drawn, because usually what gets heavy is stuff from the past. So yeah, I feel lots of people clinging, but that's their stuff, right? Can't help it. You gotta figure out your way of living. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to go overboard. You know, I'll put in coriander. Cumin could work. Well, why cumin? Because it, you know, it's also has a lot of essential oils. So this is not standard cooking. I assume you have realized this by now. This is very Indian type cooking. The curry I will keep for the bananas. The bananas! I just drank some raw cacao because otherwise I would have had trouble to record this. So yeah. And then I have to change because this sweater is very sensitive. So yeah, like with anything, you just have to start and then continue. You cook this 1 time, 2 times, maybe you have to do it 5 times until you just know how to do it. And then you start to experiment. But in the beginning, you probably stick with the recipe. Okay, of course, Christopher, you know, we'll do it the way you say it. Like I said, I could do some cleaning. But that's just the way it is, you know. I cannot always maintain a perfect state of perfection. Which is why of course, full corn flour has different properties, but I'd say in the end it's experience. Okay, I'm not gonna use chickpea flour, I think. I just want to do this because it has a different taste. Sometimes you just aim for what you remember. I could add a bit. Chickpea flour. Very unnatural for this area. Well, then you form them into balls and you bring water to a boil. Yeah, now I'm not super sure. Wow. Yeah, maybe sometimes you just need enough. I think it's enough actually. It shouldn't be too floury. But if it doesn't have any flour in it. Okay, I'll just bring this to a boil. Now here on the side, I can already cook the side dish. I can transfer this into something else. I'm a bit skittish. Oh yeah, I'm gonna use this pan. It's a bit, I don't know. It's just, I'm not the best to maintain order. Just why I'm not I'm not like a king candidate or something. I'm more like the king of the fools. Okay, now I want to do this the way I feel like it. Right, to just really get in there. I love cooking, man. Checking, still recording. So and if you do it like this, then you know how it has to feel like. Now you can ask, is it good? Because you roll it into balls like this. And then you cook it. I think it's enough salt. Some people do it with starch, I believe. You could possibly put an egg into it. But it's not supposed to fall apart. This is an intuitive amount of potatoes. And it's an intuitive amount of spices. If somebody wants to eat this traditional, then he'd be complaining. Because traditionally there not be coriander in it. And traditionally there not be full corn flour in it. So tradition can only bring you that far, right? Which is why I'm just taking from every culture I can learn from. Okay, let's see. Hard to say if that's gonna be. I think it should work. Sometimes it's nicer because it usually gets bigger. It shouldn't be super sticky, so I think I'm alright. Right? You can put a bit flour here at the bottom. And you try to make them all the same size. And then you'll just get the feeling. So yeah, you can cook yourself. You know, just have to use what you're doing as the vehicle for letting go. So I do as much as I can. When I'm super tired, I sleep. Okay, water is about to boil. So for these things, it's just supposed to simmer. Okay. What am I gonna do now? Which pot? Gonna take this pot. Oh man. Sometimes you just don't want to. Okay. Just a second. You know, a lot of us always put everyone else first. Or what about you, right? Just gonna put in a bit of salt. Okay. I think this is safe then. Of course, you can take a spoon. Take this. And then once they start swimming, you know they're alright. Usually they take about... It shouldn't cook, it should simmer. But they usually do take about 20 minutes or so. From experience, I think this should be alright. You know, if it's not, then they'll just dissolve, and then maybe you can turn this into a soup, right? So the question is, how much do I trust? Now, of course, cooking with gas is a bit harder to, because I cannot, you know, the lowest setting, that's the lowest setting, it's gonna start boiling. I think it should be alright. And then I can also just make a first batch, and then that's one meal. Now I'm gonna get the cooking bananas. also have this Satan stuff. I'll probably fry this together. You know, it's just the way I am, you know. This is how I've always worked, also with my dissertations and stuff. I usually build up stress, and when the stress became unbearable, I, you know, finished the task at hand. So sometimes you have to get a bit nervous about not managing. And then you just let all your insecurities go in one insane move and just push through. I don't know. It worked for me this far. So maybe the relationship or the marriage that seems the most unlikely is the one you should go for. Because at least it will keep you struggling. I'm just saying, you know. Cypher just... I mean, we're talking about Cypher... And was it Cypher? The guy from the Matrix who turned corrupt and sold out his entire team. He just lacked imagination. He should have just seen the beauty of this world. You know, like the bedrock of reality. You know, that's the Viking kind of way of life. Connecting with the underworld, communicating with spirits, reacting to your needs. So you'll see when they come up, then they're ready. So I can already tell now that it seems to be working. Which is why you just look up a recipe or you just try and see what comes out of it. If they start dissolving, I'm telling you, just turn it into soup, right? Just take another pot and then just turn it into a soup. I mean, or you add more flour and then you just keep on struggling, you know? I don't make food and then judge it whether it's perfect or not. I don't think food should take that much time. But the longer you cook, the less time you have to worry about what to do next. So yeah, I'd rather take my time cooking, of course. You can tell at some point they just lift off. Yeah, I'm still trying to apologize for my explosiveness. I'm not always this explosive. But I simply, you know, I have the ability to share myself, so I share myself. Not everyone can do this, because some people, they just talk about stuff that is actually irrelevant. So yeah, you talk about your emotions, you're good. You talk about stuff you've read, not so good. Talk about what you've done. That's what we want. We want to see who you are, you know? We don't want to partake in your fantasies. We want to literally see who you are. Because that's the truth. We want the truth. So show us. Do something. What makes you special? What are the skills that you can bring to humanity? So you sacrifice your life, but a sacrament. Your life as... That's your worship. You worship God by living. You don't sit around and read scriptures. You just live, right? You just show him how it's done. learn from nature, and then see. Where it's going. I'm not. Okay, so you can make quick meals. And then you don't have to always drag this out. I mean, you want to eat, you cook. If you have time, you know, you cook longer. If you don't have time, then you could cook short sessions. You wait until you're super hungry, and then you explode into a cooking frenzy, like a, I want to eat. Yeah? That's the way. You cook how you live. Okay. Nope. You know, now I have a bit of a problem. Because everything is kind of dirty. Okay, but I wanted a sauce. Okay, now I have to adjust this so you can see what I'm doing over there. Yeah, if it stays like this, it's alright. See, now it's coming up. It's supposed to be a little bit mushy. Okay, bring this up. Okay, it's a bit much fat because I'm still householding. I don't have that much left, which in itself is already challenging. You know, when everybody is living, you know, like they've got nothing to lose and stuff. Well, you may, right? You might have something to lose. What do you mean? What do you mean have something to lose? Who could I lose? Now you're scaring me. Yeah, because you may, you know. Your family might be slipping, you know. I mean, while you're listening to me, what's happening in your life? You're just sitting around watching this. You're watching a movie, you know. The people you love may be sitting at home in some kind of a depression and you just act like it doesn't exist. You know, what am I supposed to tell you? Am I supposed to treat you like you're doing really good? No, man, you're struggling. That's why you're here. That's the truth. That's why you're listening to me. Because you're struggling. If you cannot stand it, then leave. If you cannot stand it, find someone else. I'm going to tell you, you're watching this because you're struggling. You hate your life and you're bored. Well, then start doing things. Figure it out. Be active. You know, build yourself a life. That's what we're talking about. And I'm serious about this. I'm not joking. This is not for fun. This is serious stuff. You know, life today is really terrible. For some people. And then there's others, right? There's enough people out there who are just doing stuff. You're just one of those that sits around. So, what am I supposed to tell you? You know? Figure out what you like and then do it. Okay, these clearly are working. Which means for me that I can prepare the rest of the dough. Here I prepared, do you see this? Yeah. So it's a sieve. I make it so that the water can run off underneath, or so it appears, so that it doesn't stand in the water. And then you can take this and put it on here. This is how we do this here. You could leave them in there longer, of course. That's how I'm doing it now. Does this need a lid? Perhaps. Now I'm just doing everything at the same time. Holy smokes. You have to be a mother, you have to be a father, you know? Everyone's selfish, you have to know how to take care of yourself. And that's a hell of a ride. That's a hell of a ride, my friend. You have to be your own father, you have to be your own mother. Garlic comes later, because it burns more easily. You know, you have to do householding, you're running out of food. That's my life constantly. I feel like I'm constantly on the verge of collapsing. And who can I turn to? Well, I've got a life to build, no time to slack off. You know, you could just eat potatoes, but let's face it. When you're eating potatoes every day, you're gonna start hating them. Which is why this is my approach, right? I have potatoes, so I look for ways to eat them. Turn them into gnocchi. Turn them into whatever inspires you to cook again, you know? Make your own kind of ramen. Because that's the kind of world we live in at the moment. Everything is kind of accessible, except for yourself, right? Because you're constantly in your phone. What a lead over. You know, you feel empty and dead, you know, cook something with chili, like make a banana chili, give yourself some spicy food. Cooking warms you up, right? I don't see why, while I'm standing in the kitchen, you should sit around and watch TV, you know? That's the kind of mentality. Why aren't you helping in the kitchen? You know, because if I try, you tell me I shouldn't. Well, too bad. Maybe I'm just gonna help anyway. Okay, that's the capacity. This thing can hold. Now this is burning, which is bad. My hands are dirty again. Which is good, because it means I've been cooking. Okay. Yeah, sometimes if it gets a bit charred, I don't mind. But I feel like cooking with gas is certainly better. But there are certain downsides depending on your setup. You've been set up! You've been set up! Yeah. Maybe tell me about it first. Because I've already chosen a woman. You just don't get that. You know, they're still looking for me. You get it? They're still looking for me, trying to use me. And I simply disagree. You know, there's people out there looking for me. I just say, what an idiot. You know? What an idiot. Why are you looking for me? You're supposed to be looking for yourself.
Yeah, but I don't like myself.
Yeah, neither did I. I didn't necessarily like myself. I just started spending time with myself. And then I started to like myself. So you want to get to the point where you can allow yourself to have the woman that would make you happy. And that's then called an active dreamer, right? Or just the law of attraction. Because what's the dream? You know, if you look at reality, you know, you won't find it in a movie. You find it outside. And that's the toughest ride you'll ever find. Yeah, and using food, you know, like close to its due date is probably a good idea, because just it's a chili. Just because it doesn't go bad, because they put stuff in it so you don't see that it goes bad. So you may not even smell that it's gone bad. And it's all trickery. Modern day life. It's all trickery, you know? You're being, you give too much value to clothes. So people have this standard clothing, and then they say, you know, I'm like this. But you're not. You're just using clothes to project an image that people identify certain qualities with, which people also no longer uphold. Which is why, be your own kind of a chef, be your kind of a cook. So those are cooking bananas. So now I added more coconut fat anyway, because sometimes I just say, well, when it's gone, it's gone. If I run out of food, you know, I'll fast or just die. I'm just saying. Sadhana is supposed to keep you alive. I cannot help it that this world is kind of confusing. Okay, this is seitan. I'm gonna add it. I mean, I know how to cook vegetarian, but if I'm struggling, I'll eat meat, you know? I'm just saying, because I also like hiking. My neighbors put this out, and I simply said, hey, okay, what can I do with this? So I should have added the garlic later. That's alright. Should have, could have. You know, what did I do? You sit around, you dwell on the should have, could have, and that's then what you do. You sit around regretting things. It's a waste of time. Solution-based thinking. So I am starting to teach myself or to learn new algorithms for the Rubik's Cube. Which is also a good investment in changing your thinking patterns, changing the way your mind works by learning how to puzzle with your mind. And then you can find solutions for all kinds of problems. Okay, I have to get coconut cream. Today is a bit messy. I already have. And now I found something else. I've got this cabbage stuff. And before it goes bad, because then I can also get some veggies in. Otherwise, so I haven't eaten properly, like literally, because I'm afraid I'm running out of food, right? So I sometimes keep the food so I can make a cooking session with it. You know, that's the reality I'm living in. Because next month I have to pay the website, the server and stuff. And that means I have to household, which is a good practice, of course. Wow! Sometimes you just have to pee. And then you do this. Yeah, I'll go pee. Otherwise, it's gonna be a nuisance. Okay, salt. Just give me a second. Wow! Okay, conscious living, time management. I'm not fond of yeah, it started burning at the bottom, but I cannot help this now. See, now they're starting to float. But cool, it worked. I could say sorry for the confusion, but I'm not. If you get hook-winged by me or anyone else, then it's just your own confusion. You know, you confuse yourself to be something you're not. I'm just saying. Just because people projected this image onto you. And now you're trying to fulfill their expectations. right? You know, it's like somebody acting like they're better than you, and you allow them. Well, then it's your choice, right? You want to accept people's superiority? I tried that for some time, and then I realized, wow, you know, they've really got nothing to teach because all they do is sit around. And I listen to them. What an idiot I am. But that's how I deal with this. Self-responsibility. I acknowledge, you know, my own participation. In what happened to me. And that's how I liberated myself from the way I used to be. And could then embrace who I might have been, or, you know, who I realized I could be when I focused on my own development rather than trying to tell people to do things. I just did it myself. I'm just saying, which is why I can say from the bottom of my heart, you know, yeah, I don't really care what you think. Because it's what you do. If you think you're better than me, well, I'm not going to tell you to prove it. Because like I said, I don't care. You know, I focus on myself. It's my life. You know, I'm doing YouTube because I feel like it helps me to reach people so they can listen to what I had to say. And then maybe they have something to say themselves. But like I said, I don't care. And that's liberation. I liberated myself from clinging to the idea that I have to teach people in real life. I don't have to teach you anything. I just record myself. I teach myself. I learned from that. And that's then here, right? I'm Christopher. That's what I'm doing. I want to eat, I cook, you know? My kitchen is a bit messy, okay. I set myself a plan to clean it. But I've also been really busy, you know. I have done other things. So sometimes you have to prioritize. Okay, now it seems like, you know, I have to start cooking again. Just like now it seems like, now I know it won't burn. You know, it's a good time to put on a lid. You know, so it can cook a little. Right? Wow, you know. Oh wow, that's what he's doing. He's transcending. You know, I am transcending the me that was hungry into the me that just ate. But in order to get there, in a world where I literally practice self-responsibility, I have to do the cooking. And that's the real bummer. That's like, well, at least once a week I'm gonna see to it that Christopher gets a proper meal. And then people come and say,
Why is he talking to himself?
because he's got nobody else to talk to. And because that's the way of the modern day and age, you know? People sit around in their own darkness, and what do? You know? Everyone just talks to themselves. You know? People sit around in their own darkness, and they just talk to themselves. You come to them, you say something, they don't even know if you're real. And then you're starting to wonder if they are real. And then you say, that's a really hard question. I literally don't know. I mean, it's a weird kind of a life. You know, we're being sold the idea of security, but there is no security. Because what you're looking for, you know, used to be life. And now, what are you doing? You're just sitting around, you know? You're even afraid of your own wife. I mean, seriously, you're afraid of your own wife. What for? What is she going to do to you? Nothing. You know, say something, you know, under her breath. Like, say something in a bit angry way. What? Is this like, what? Why are you afraid of this? And this is behavior you'll adopt, you know? Let's say your father is afraid of his wife. You're gonna probably pick up his behavior and then in turn be afraid of your wife until you realize who you got this from. Why am I afraid of my own wife? You know? What's the fear? You know, I'm starting to forget the things I was scared of because I looked at them long enough and at some point they stopped being scary. But you learn to respect them. Right? That's what you can do. Okay, so sometimes you just have to work hard. Push this through. You know, I'm working on a project, the audio file for next week. Then I have to do something in the cellar. Okay. Sometimes you get small jobs. Like be the handyman. Okay. I'll be the handyman. Sometimes you have to work in the garden. Not because you have to, but because somebody comes and asks you, would you like to work in the garden? What do you say? No. You say yeah, because I like to be of service. I like to hone my abilities. Ah, very good decision. You know? Because it keeps the community alive. Because it helps us all to grow, to see a young man work his ass off and make a standing, you know, in a world of weaklings and cowards. No, very good decision, young man. Or young woman, you know. It goes for both. You have to earn your right to have a piece of heaven. And that is literally what any tree knows. Why?
Why is he talking about trees now?
Well, I can tell you, my friend, who I will never meet, most likely. Well, why? Wait, what was I just saying? Oh yeah, any tree. Any tree is born into hell. Because when you start growing as a seed, you're in the undergrowth reality, which is what you have to survive. You know? A storm comes, another tree falls onto you. Well, maybe you can grow through the other tree, or you'll just die. You know? And that's simply life. And at one point you're going to be a big fine tree, providing shade for other trees. You know, and then the state comes and chops you down. So, this is the way I see it. A tree keeps out corruption, which is why you cannot accept money, you know, because then, you know, state comes and says, hey, we'd like to buy your land. And you say, oh yeah, you know, I'll take the money. You know? No. You say, well, go somewhere else. Well, yeah, of course, if the state is really big and the infestation of corruption, or maybe it's just some time for darkness, you know, you'll be hard pressed. So you'll probably just be weeded out. Or you have to go on a journey, you know. Replay the Moses story or something.
What are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about life. You know, sometimes you make a stand and you get to stay, and sometimes you make a stand and you're being pushed out. Sometimes you survive, and then you have to collect all your bearings and just make a run for it, make a dash. You know, sometimes you get to play with a lovely maiden, and sometimes you don't. You know, sometimes your wife dies. So in the end, you simply try to survive. Like, this is not 100% the meal I envisioned. So what? It's a meal. You can eat it. In the end, I'm gonna defecate, and it's gonna give me the strength to push through the day. So it has chili. No, it has heat. It's gonna kick me in the rear. Another day in winter survived. So yeah, what a life, you know? What a wife. What a life. Yeah, whatever, you know? You look at another man's wife and you think, what a wife. No, look at yourself, man. You're not supposed to look at other people all the time. Focus on your own life. But yeah, I mean, if somebody can carry your hope, okay. But what if that person dies? You're just gonna sit around now, I've got no hope left. So, it's just weird, right? Times are just weird. It's not very promising to be good at anything, because once you try, everybody comes, you know, and then you've got nothing left. You know, Justin Bieber, you know. The crowd just comes and destroys your life. How terrible. And they don't care, you know. They'll suck you dry. They don't care if you never manage to build your own life. But sometimes there is a woman that steps into the life of a man and says, hey, I don't know, but, you know, I'll be there. And then you just have to learn to accept her. To distance yourself from the angry mob. Because it's their problem, you know. They have to find their way through or out or whatever. So yeah, today I'm standing in a messy kitchen. Is this nice? Well, it's part of life. Sometimes it's a bit messy. You know, it's okay for me because I'll be cleaning later. Okay. Now this is not the type of food you know, this is just, you know, I took the time to cook. Now I get to eat. Then I get to fight hard and struggle. Look at this. You know, dirty plate. Awesome. How many? You know? How much can you eat? And tomorrow I'll be chopping them up and frying them. You know? Okay, 4 should be enough. And then later I'll be making something else. Yeah, I have to work in the house. There are things I need to do. So I really have to pull myself together. So I need spicy food. Okay. Seitan banana curry here. You know, you can eat it and then you can sit on the toilet. Get to live another day. right? If I don't eat, then I withdraw into myself, and then you don't like watching me anymore because I'm not as lively, you know?
I want him to be really lively.
You know?
I want to have him have really nice and chubby cheeks.
So I can
Squeeze really hard, you know?
Yeah. Okay!
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo!
Yeah? Maybe that's what you need, you know? Somebody that just shows you there is a lot of energy, but I also drank a ceremonial cacao earlier. So I'm also drawing from that at the moment. Or maybe not. This morning I felt cold, and then I started moving, and then it got better. I did some crochet, and then it got better, and now I'm here. You know, now you heard me. Hear yourself. Turn this off. Listen within. Cook yourself a meal, and then meditate. Yeah, meditate while cooking. Meditate while talking. Meditation means you're just letting it flow. You know. It's being washed clean in your spirit and you're just being a channel. Okay? Crazy kitchen over. You know? That's the way. Whatever. Cheers.